Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. With that, guys, hey everybody, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 692. My name is Nick Henderson, and I am joined tonight by Nolan Hedstrom.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Christopher Davis.
Hello.
Crispy.
Hello.
And joining us tonight, someone who hasn't been on the podcast in quite some time, our good friend Jeff. Hello, Jeff. How are you doing?
Hi, guys. How's it going?
You still like video games?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
God, I would hope so.
More now than ever. Like, the world is fucking sad. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
The world's kind of fucked up, and video games are here to save us.
Shit's depressing.
Yeah, everything is kind of fucking depressing, but video games are here to save us.
I had a COVID baby. You know what I mean? Like, I had my first son. I had my first, like, my newborn kid. But now he's 2. But, like, we had him and then COVID. Like, it was.
Man,
it's been a stressful, like.
Holy shit!
It's tough, dude.
And I'm over here. Tough 2 years. And I'm over here complaining, and I don't even have a baby. I can't even imagine trying to raise a newborn during COVID.
Terrifying.
I mean, you do have a puppy. It's almost the equivalent sometimes.
The puppy.
I thought Nick was gonna be like, Jeff, I feel you. I just got this puppy.
Which, by the way, let me just say, this puppy is like, I'm lucking out as far as puppies go. This thing is not at all a handful. You know, I haven't even experienced half of like the horrors that I hear people talking about with puppies. She's so well behaved. Except today, she did go in the backyard and come in with ants all over her, so we had to give her an impromptu bath. So that was fun. I know exactly what it's like to raise a newborn, I guess, during COVID.
I'm gonna go maybe towards Jeff's side and say no, you don't.
Yeah, no, you don't.
No, I know. Well, tonight I don't really know what we're doing. We're gonna talk about video games, but you know, Brad's not here, and we had kind of a plan. The plan kind of fell apart, so we're just gonna wing it. We're gonna talk about video games. I know Crispy mentioned before the show that he wanted to say some words about the Green Knight, which
I want to spoil the shit out of it. So
no, thank you.
Nolan is shaking his head vigorously. I watched the Green Knight last night. Crispy watched it.
I'm probably gonna watch it either tomorrow or Saturday.
Can I just, first of all, nobody here is going to spoil the Green Knight. Don't y'all worry. I do want to say I was kind of annoyed. So A24 or A24, whatever the company that produced the Green Knight, right? They sent out this thing saying, "Hey, we're doing a virtual screening of the Green Knight tomorrow. You know, so you don't have to go to a movie theater to watch it." And I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah!" So I bought a virtual ticket and I did it last night. And it was like they give you like a 4-hour window.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
and
why I watched it.
Yeah, it was great. And then this morning I see that it was like advertisements all over my Twitter, like the Green Knight available everywhere you can rent movies now. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck was that?
Bamboozled! Yeah, but we got that like little intro, and then I think there was a thing after the movie that I didn't watch.
It was no, the intro. So here's the funny thing. I didn't watch the intro. I watched the outro, but I'm pretty sure it was bookended by a dramatic reading of the original poem.
Oh,
right?
Really? Fuck.
Yeah, that was what the ending part was.
Because the intro was literally just fucking what's his face? The guy that played the Green Knight, just like saying, "Hey, welcome to the movie, and you're gonna watch the movie, and then after the movie, there's a thing." That's all the intro was.
Yeah, the post thing was him doing a dramatic reading of an excerpt from the original poem while smoking a pipe shaped like the Green Knight.
Was it an excerpt, or was it the whole thing? I don't think it's that long.
It was only like 6 minutes long. So yeah.
You know what? I watched a really good animated video that was an animated version of the poem that was really great. I'm gonna find it and link it somewhere, like in Discord.
But you know what? That movie was pretty good. I highly recommend everybody here go watch The Green Knight. People in chat seem to think we're about to spoil it. We're not going to do that. I don't know if Crispy has anything else he wants to add to that, but that movie's pretty dope.
Turns out he's actually more of a turquoise knight, but I'm just kidding. I haven't seen it, so I don't even know.
Yeah, the big twist is that he's red. No, yeah, it was. I don't know. I have been super hyped on this movie during like the entirety of COVID. So I really, 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 really wanted this to be like my return to theaters movie. Didn't work out that way. Still, even in the like less than ideal conditions I watched it, it was sublime. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good. So good.
Yeah,
good.
yeah, it was great. I highly recommend going to check that out. Has anybody else seen anything interesting lately they want to share? I watched Pig. Has anybody seen Pig? No.
I've seen the first
Was
like
it good?
5 minutes.
Yeah, I have not seen that one yet, but I am hearing very positive things from people I trust. And
I gave that movie above a 3 on Letterboxd.
which is worrying, but
just
could still be good.
What if I just went? What if I just went and deleted my my A New Hope score from Letterboxd?
No,
It would honestly
Nick,
make your letterbox a lot more credible.
I would
I'll
never.
do it
I
right
would
now.
never respect you again if you did. I would never respect you or your opinion ever again if you deleted it. Nick, that is the tent pole of your account. That is the metric by which all of your movies are judged, and honestly, it's your character. It's you. It's your essence.
Here's what I'm gonna do, Crispy. I'm gonna make a new movie rating system like Letterboxd, but all it is this movie better or worse than Star Wars: A New Hope?
Yeah.
That's
That'd
it.
be perfect. It's just
There you
up
go.
or down, up or down. No quantifying it
Nope.
in any way. There's no like scale or gradient or nuance whatsoever. Is it better or is it worse than A New Hope? You know what'd be even better than that? Like, is it just better or worse than the last movie you saw? Because it doesn't it doesn't fucking matter. Whatever else you've seen, was it better or worse than the last movie you saw? Because that's how movies are like fucking. That's how they decide what to make. So why don't
prominent
we
community member-
review them that way?
Prominent community member Gonzo Lude rated Star Wars: A New Hope 4 stars out of 5.
Yeah, he probably just went and did that. That fucker just followed me on Letterboxd like 5 minutes ago. He probably went and did that just to spite me. Everybody knows that movie's a 3. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm clearly just joking. Everybody breathe.
No,
It's gonna be okay.
Nick, stand by your guns. A New Hope is the best 3-star movie ever made.
Yeah, probably. If I could get everybody to agree on the fact that it's a 3, then I would absolutely say yes, that it's the best 3
If
ever
more
made.
people thought like you, Nick, there wouldn't be war.
Wars.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be Star Wars.
Oh.
There would only be one Star Wars, but yeah,
There would be
humanity
a
would
Star
be-
Wars.
It'd be a Star Wars, yeah. Hey, real quick, I want to catch up with Jeff for a minute. It's been a hot second since we've had you on the podcast, like literal years. Obviously, we've interacted a lot on Twitter and in Discord, whatnot. But how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm getting older, and I'm noticing it
we all.
more. Being a dad is tough. It's fun, especially because I have a little boy. So he like is just like he's everything that I was as a kid, and so I get to be even more of a fucking kid than I am already.
You get to live
Which is
vicariously
cool.
through your son.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. The other day, I had a little more pocket cash because of something that worked out at work, right? So I stopped in at like Best Buy to just like maybe I'll spend this money, and then I got home with a big ass bag, and Diana's like, "What's in there?" And it was three Star Wars Lego sets that I saw at. They had like all of them, and what was like I was just like sporadically, yeah, let's just spend $150 on these Lego sets. And I get home and Diana's like, what the hell are you doing with these Star Wars Lego sets? I'm like, they're for Jeffrey. And then like as I'm opening one, I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna put this one together right now. You know what I mean? Because he's too little. He's gonna.
Yeah.
He's not
I
the
got
type of
this.
kid that puts shit in his mouth. But like, I don't want to fucking
You
risk
don't want
it.
to risk it.
I got this for my son,
If he
quote unquote.
accidentally does put one in his mouth, then you're missing a piece from your set, so not worth the risk.
And also, the funny part is that's also infected my video game buying because he already like likes to sit down and like play games with me. So like every time I'm like I see something on sale, I'm like I could buy this because in like 4 years Jeffrey's gonna want to play this, you know. So it's cool, but yeah,
that is the most how's the word like the most like because someone who doesn't have children who obviously really likes playing video games, which is a very time consuming hobby. It's kind of scary to think about. Like that day's coming. Obviously, it's coming. I
yeah.
want kids at some point. It's kind but like hearing you say
Nick.
that, like hearing you justify it the way that you're doing, this is good.
Okay, so here you gotta at some point, Nick, when you have a kid, you realize like, okay, 2 hours tops is all you're gonna get to play at best every day, maybe 2 hours. You know what I mean? So, and that's like this time. Like he goes to like Diana, my wife. She like we put him to bed at different days, switch on and off, so that gives us some free time, like earlier free
Yeah.
time. So like that's my free time. You know what I mean? Like 9:30, if I could slam him to bed at 9:30, like I'm good till 11:30. Like let's go. Like that's it. Sometimes you go into 12, you wake up early, tired, but
I'm already doing that. I don't even have a kid.
you need to be okay with not playing everything. Like for the first time, you're gonna have to look at games and be like, I can't play that. Like I'm not gonna touch that. You know what I mean? Because there's just not enough time for some of that shit.
All
And
right,
so
you're
my
scaring
game
me, Jeff.
Yeah, so you know what, the one thing I noticed is like my gaming preference and like style has changed with
Yeah.
like stuff that's like quick bursts, like I'm more into like something that I could play for 20 minutes, like even like roguelikes are perfect for that shit. Card games, they're perfect for that shit. Like because you don't have to like think about things continuously for 40, 60, minutes at a time. But yeah, it's cool. It's great. It's great. Kids are cool.
Prince of the Universe in chat just said Jeff just invalidated my entire existence in less than a minute. that's the scary shit. So I don't know how much of this I can ask you about. You're still y'all still working on your
Refactor,
game?
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So
How's that going?
I'm churning out music at the moment. I worked on music for the game before, but like the game is coming along beautifully. Like those guys are working hard. I kind of backed the kids, so I backed away from like the development side of things and like the design side of things. I let those guys kind of take you know take it and kind of let it form. And I backed away from the project for a while, and it's been good because like now when I come back to the project, like okay, it's almost wrapping up. Like now it's time to like do final score. I did music for the game, but like it was too early. So like I was just there, kind of like helping with design stuff, early design choices, play
Yeah.
testing, all that stuff. And then after a while, yeah, I had to back away because of the kid and life and all that stuff, which it actually worked out for the best because now when I look at the game and I play it, I'm like super proud of Bob and Matt and Joseph, especially like
Yeah. No, it's
Joseph's self-taught. Like
Yeah.
he's
dude, that is the
self-taught, and
craziest thing. Yeah.
his fucking sculpting is on point. Like he's really good at what he does, and like being around Bob for the last 10 years or whatever, about the whole thing has been super cool because like I've seen Joseph go from like just learning ZBrush to like what he can do now, and like same thing with Bob, and like it's just awesome to like be around that and just learning how to make a game. Games are
Yeah.
fucking hard, dude. Like shitting on games is like
Easy.
so here's the thing. Yeah, like sometimes you guys go hard on games Nolan goes hard on games when he doesn't like a game, and like I'm listening on my end on the podcast, and I'm like ouch, Nolan, ouch, like you don't know how hard it is, like you do
he
know,
goes hard out of love.
yeah, it's you don't
I
you have
think.
So,
no,
hold on. So hold on. I will say that there's been very few games that have gone so hard on,
no,
and
yeah, for
it's
sure,
generally a lot of the time it's because I see the greatness and that the game has to offer, but there's so many little things that are holding it back. And it's not that I want to shit on the game. It's more of like if they could just fix these things, the game
yeah,
would be so much better, kind of a type deal.
right,
And
yeah,
I really hope that in a modern age, and a lot of people do complain, Nicholas, that games are no longer you buy it and it's set and it's good forever. But that's a good thing because they can take
I'm
feedback
coming around on it.
from players and update them and make them better. And
sure.
so that's kind of my 2 cents on that.
I
And yes,
I
I will say that lately, honestly, I have been shitting less. I will admit, and because I've been trying to see the brighter side of things.
Yeah, games are just hard. Just like it's hard. You get and like, bro, when you're making something, like when you're creating something for from the beginning for like 9 years, 7 to 9 years of like the thought process, like you get engulfed in that shit. You don't like you almost get delusional on like what's good. Is it good? I don't know. Like you spend so much time working on it and playing it and play testing it that like you kind of like get engulfed in it. So it's like making a great game that like a majority of people play and is like, man, this is pretty good, is like it's really hard to do. You know what I mean?
It's
And
been really cool to watch that project from from the very start when you guys got started on it back when it was Tetropolis. And yeah,
man, like
how far it's come. Like man,
we,
every time I see it, I'm like, what?
I'll tell you straight up, we fucked up. Like we fucked up. We should have made a smaller game. Like in our game initially, like the thought process was like, oh, it'll be small. It'll be like 3, 4 areas. Like we'll make it like a mini Metroidvania, And then like
It
then
balloons. It gets away from you.
yeah, it just gets away, and then it's like, well, this isn't, for this to be better, there needs to be thickness. Then you make it thicker, and then you're like, well, like that's better, and then but what about this? And then that everything else around it gets thicker, and then the next thing you know,
Yeah.
the little thing you designed becomes this massive thing. And the game doesn't like, it Bob is doing a real good job of like making it very like not streamlined, but like it doesn't there's no bloat, you know what I mean?
So,
And so
so being, and I know where Bob's coming from on that. I'm not a game developer, but I am a developer, and that's something that you often have to think about. Is a feature gets requested or some things like this, and it's okay. Well, what does this add? What do we get out of this? And then what is the cost benefit ratio? Like, so if it's going to take me 2 weeks to write the code that will do this, but it only adds the smallest amount of quality to it, it's not worth my time. And
right.
especially when, like you said, like this game's been in development for a while, and I'm sure Bob would love to get it out into the hands of gamers. But obviously, you want to make sure it's in like a good state. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean,
You want to make sure it's not. Nothing's ever perfect,
bro,
but you always want to get as close as you can.
like for an idea that was just like me and Bob just being a part of 4Player, and me talking to Bob and being like, I was like, Bob, I got ideas for games, like let's make a game. And he was like, all right, let's do it. And then we sat down, we came up with Next Gen Pants as a name, and then we just started like just like on paper, like starting to like just make develop games on paper, like you know what I mean, like write out a whole dev doc, and like you know we came up with these little ideas, and then like out of nowhere, like this uh you know Tetropolis idea comes up about these, like the whole conceit and the whole hook of our game, right, comes up from like a just a small joke idea. And then now
A
we
little
have,
mini game jam.
yeah, and now we have four people, but realistically, like it's one programmer, one person doing art, Matt's doing sound and also helping on design ends, and he's learning with Bob like how to use Unity and like do all that stuff, right? So like Matt's kind of like uh, like becoming. He's gaining skills and he's becoming a better developer in general, not just the sound guy. And like that's it. I was there for like early design choices and that kind of stuff, and then like after half of it, it was like, man, we've been working on this thing for 4 years, and like we at that point I was like, I need to step back. You know what I mean? Like I need to step back and like take care of some things. So but yeah, it's still coming. It's on it. It's on its way.
I know a lot of
It's
people in our community are pretty familiar with it and whatnot, but if you happen to be listening to this and you don't know what we're talking about, I'll post a link to the trailer in the link dump on on the site for the post for this episode is what I'm trying to say. So check it out. I think we're all pretty excited to see the final product, but yeah, it's been a wild ride watching you guys make this. And like you said, watching Joseph like kind of learn how to do all the sculpting and the modeling, like because he's been posting that shit on Twitter for ages. Like it's super impressive what you guys
yeah,
have managed to do,
yeah.
especially self-taught.
Like it makes me at the end of the day, like it makes me hope that like even if this thing doesn't uh I mean our team's so small, like if it does, like who knows? Who knows what this thing's gonna do? But let's say it flops, right? Like it makes me proud of Joseph because, like, I believe, like, if even if this flops and Next Gen Pants never makes another game, like Joseph's gonna go get a fucking job. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's
Yeah.
good enough to go get a job, and I like that because even though we made a labor of love, even if it fails, like it was enough to like make everybody on the team that much better at what they
Yeah.
do because we worked so long on something. So
Also, Nightbot in chat, I forgot we had the automated thing. Just posted a link to the Next Gen Pants
nice,
site. So you check that out.
nice.
Also, as a connection to something that's probably going to come up later, it just popped into my head that there was a question that we're probably going to get to later tonight, where somebody asked, "What's the best?" Actually, I think this is a drunken merchant question. He asked, "What's your favorite name for a game studio?" And you just said Next Gen Pants, and it just I was like, that's a damn good
It's
name.
so
So
stupid. Like, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
stupid names are
we
the
have
best
nothing to
names.
do. We have nothing to do with pants. We make fucking video games. Like, what are we doing? No, that's cool. It was
I'm
like it's perfect. You know what I mean? It's
yes.
perfect for
I
us.
nominate Next Gen Pants as one of the best names for a video game studio. But
Um, video games. What does anybody play? Because I don't want to sit here and talk about this game that we've been making forever. Um,
video games. See, this is the part of the show where suddenly we don't have a plan. We're just gonna start throwing stuff out here real quick. I just want to mention because Jeff, you did make a good point. I make a point to like try and not talk about Revival Club stuff on the podcast because obviously we talk about it in Discord and I record a separate podcast for things. But um, this past week we finished up our time with Stalker, Call of Pripyat, and I have a podcast in the works for that. I'm going to release that this weekend. But we put a poll out there for the next game. And it was a Brad nomination that won. It was Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. But at the last possible second, I noticed that Psychonauts 2 is coming out next week. And Psychonauts 1 is on sale for $1. And it's on Game Pass. And I was like, this feels like it'd be kind of stupid to not take advantage of this. So we're doing a really quick lightning round playing Psychonauts 1 prior to the release of Psychonauts 2. And I started that this past week. Has anybody else here played Psychonauts? This is
Negative.
also one of those games.
Years
This is one of
ago.
those games. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
one of those
it's been a
games
long time.
Brad's been pushing for a long time. And Brad was a huge fan of Psychonauts, and Psychonauts 2 is being published by Microsoft. But I had never played this, and I popped it in. I've only played like an hour so far. Oh no,
it's
we're hearing
windy. Hold
someone.
on.
Sorry. What was I saying? Psychonauts 1. Haven't played it before. Never played it. This game came out in 2005. I just want to say I played it for an hour. The game is fucking delightful, and it plays like 100 times better than I was expecting from like a platforming perspective. Sorry, who said they had played it?
I have.
Nolan,
Myself and Crispy, I don't. It's. I think both of us. It's also been a very long time.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I played it when it was like on original Xbox.
and I was playing this the other day, and I was thinking to myself, like, this. It feels weird to me that this game was on an Xbox. Like, it feels so. And maybe it wasn't quite. It didn't feel. I am playing it on PC, and whatnot, and
Yeah.
you know, it still feels dated. But at the same time, I'm like thinking to myself,
Wow.
like, some of the platforming, it feels like right out of the gate, they don't hold anything they don't hold like a lot of the important things back. Like, you can do a double jump right out of the gate. You're doing all these like things where you're like grabbing onto things and swing, like, what's the word, like trapeze things, and like swinging around them and
Yeah,
jumping up
yeah,
and
yeah.
accessing like higher areas. It's like super vertical and stuff, and it's open and it's full of like that Double Fine humor, which is fucking like
It's
chef's
good,
kiss.
right? Like
It's so good.
I just played it for the first time a couple of weeks ago because the new one was coming out, and I have no, again, because of the baby, I have to play 5 hours of that game and be like, okay, I can't play 15 more hours of this, so I'm gonna just stop now and just wait for Psychonauts 2. But
Yeah.
in the first like 5 hours of me playing that game, like, yeah, I was so impressed. Like, the fucking menu of that game is a dude walking on come on, like, that
Yeah.
shit's so hype.
Yeah.
He's
Like,
walking
that's
on a
so
brain.
good. It's so
Yeah.
good. Like, that attention to detail and care for that kind of shit is why I like Double Fine. And like, yeah, everything about the ghost like things that you collect in the level, like that all being like metaphors for the phobias and anxiety drivers, like in each person's, like, that shit is all like metaphorically dope and like
Literal
cool.
baggage.
Yeah, literal baggage. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
good. It's so good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I'm
I'm
super
impressed. I'm
into it.
excited. Yeah, it feels good. Like, it felt good as a game. Like, it's good. I'm
Yeah,
excited
and
for the two.
yeah, so Psychonauts 2 is coming out next week, I think on the 25th, and I am very much excited for it now, more so than I was. But yeah, I'll be streaming some of that this weekend, I think, and I'm gonna try and get through it before we're gonna wait and start Dark Messiah Might and Magic on September 1st. So to give us a little wiggle room, I'm gonna try and finish it before Psychonauts 2 comes out. But if not, it's a fairly short game, like 15 hours, I think is kind of the average. So keep your eyes on that, and I'll probably be recording a podcast for that. I might even combine Psychonauts and Dark Messiah because they're both fairly short games into like a single podcast in September. But if you're interested, we're playing that for the Revival Club. We're talking about it in Discord. Check it out. Other things, Jeff, you hit us with some. We kind of arranged you'd be on the podcast fairly quickly before the show started. So hit us with some. What the
Give
fuck
us some
have you been playing?
freestyle.
An hour
Off the top of the dome.
an hour before, I just tweeted at Nick. I was like, "Do you need a guest?" He was like, "Yeah, why not?"
Yes, I do.
So Recompile is a game that I had no idea of. It showed up on Game Pass. So wait, let's bring it back. So I decided to go with an Xbox this time around, just because of Game Pass. Like,
You mean
I have,
for next gen platforms? So you
yeah,
want
for
the
next
Series
gen
X?
platforms. I mean, eventually I'll get a PS5, but I'm saying, like, as far as picking and choosing between one, like, I put my efforts into getting a Series X, and I got one, and the Game Pass has been like a game changer for me because, like, I have a kid and I can't buy every game, and I'm okay with finally being like, okay, I'm not going to get to play everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And eventually I'll get to the good stuff because we always do.
You've got
know,
Star Wars Lego sets to buy.
Exactly. So so Recompile is a game that, again, it's on Game Pass. It's a game where it's a Metroidvania where you're a humanoid piece of data, like a piece of data, or a virus or a program
A datum.
inside of a like a PC world that's like
Like Tron. Kind of.
Kind of. Yeah, like I'm not sure what's going on. I read some of the logs, so I'm only like a few hours in. The some of the data logs are like really cool, like they're really intriguing. So I'm like starting to get narratively like into it. Because like there's this cool thing where like you're getting the narrative from like the outside world, like where this like the ship that your computer that you're in is kind of like
Like where
you're
it's housed.
yeah, and you get like the narrative of the world outside, and it's all cool stuff about like people making like AI humanoids and like kind of like that kind of sci-fi stuff that's like it's really compelling. But as far as how the game plays, it's like a 3D Metroidvania, like in this really strange world where like when you've so there's some cool things I do like. So if you watch video or if you get to play it, there's this thing where like as you walk through, it's almost like Control, where like the data bits are like scrambled, and as you walk towards it, you're piecing it together, and like the world is kind of coming together. Um,
Mhm.
and that kind of tells you, it kind of leads you, like it kind of like holds your hand into the way of like if you get to a fork in the road or like a spot, if you get to like a main hub in the world where there's like 5 spokes where you could take 5 different routes, like if you took one and you got back to that hub, you would know just by looking around, like, oh, I haven't been there, because you see all the scrambled things. So it's a cool
Gotcha.
way of having a line. The aesthetic of the game is super hype. Like I think Crispy would love it. It's like DOS, like the options menu is all DOS based, and like a lot of the scripts and like stuff you're getting is like these DOS screenshots and chat logs, and like ASCII, the map is an ASCII, like it looks like I don't know, um, some ASCII kind of like rogue. You know what I mean? Where it's got like the equal symbol as like roads and pavings. Like it's interesting. It's really cool. It plays okay. Um, it's
Didn't
just
you say there was some
slippery.
kind of like res component to this too, or is
It
that
just
or are we
looks
talking?
like it has like the res look where like everything is like polygonal crafted like data bits. It's not like it doesn't look like look at a screenshot. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't
I'm
look.
looking at them now.
Yeah, like the actual character looks like pixel
A
data
collection
bits.
of blocks or pixels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That are creating a humanoid figure. But you shoot shit. Like yeah, I got an ability to shoot shit. I'm assuming there's a double jump. Like it looks like I got to an area where I can't get anywhere. So I'm assuming I'm gonna be able to fly or like zip around. So it's still early. I don't know how long the game is. I've already been to like 4 or 5 biomes, which are like these little areas that become like Superland, right? Like when you took a branch in Superland, that area in itself became like a puzzle environment, right? Like
Sure.
this kind of has that too. And there's like these really cool um 3D renditions of like Crosscode, if anybody is familiar with like that
Mhm.
RPG from last year or a couple of
Yeah.
Oh
years ago,
yes.
It was 2
Crosscode,
years ago, yeah. Mhm.
where like you're shooting stuff to do ricochets and like that kind of stuff. There's like some cool stuff like that. The enemies have like there's like flying stuff and like spider bots, and they kind of like have a uh, like a portalish kind of feel to them. So
Mm.
it's the aesthetic is cool. I'm gonna play more of it. It seems like
And
a
it's on
game
Game
that,
Pass.
and I think it might be impressive. Like I didn't know shit about it, and in the first 2 hours, I was like I would
It,
be
it's
playing that right now if I wasn't doing the podcast, like for sure. You
it's
know,
funny. It's like one of the when you mentioned Recompile in Discord earlier, the first thing that popped into my head was like I was like, oh shit, because there's this other game that was announced within the last like six. In fact, it may have been E3 that starts with an R and it's like a single word. I don't remember what it was, but I was my first thought. It was one of those games that has a like really unique like kind of pixelated art style and look kind of like noirish. Do you know what I'm talking about? I feel like Crispy knows what I'm talking about. I don't know, but it was one of those games that was announced at E3, and I was like, "Holy shit, that game's out already!" And then I looked at Recompile, I was like, "Oh, this is not at all what I was thinking." But if it's a Metroidvania, and you mentioned Superland, and
it's well
Superland,
Superland and how it's designed, right? Because when you
I mean,
go
that's the
into
important thing.
when you go into an area, it becomes almost like a little map or like a quadrant of an area that's like puzzles upon itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like you go into an area and kind of like Superland, you kind of like, oh, I wonder how to get up there, and then you figure something out over here that allows you to, get to different areas in that same kind of
Yeah.
area. That's kind of like that. I don't think, I don't think I'm not sure how the upgrading system goes, so I can't say much about that. Superland was obviously real simplified, but it was effective because like you were just getting power up after power up after power up, like one after the other, so it fed you well. And then this first 2 hours, I got 3 abilities, and if each blip indicates a new ability, I have like 16 more, so I'm not sure.
Nice.
So we'll see, but it
By the
seems interesting. It's just a
by the
little
way,
slippery.
that game that I was trying to think of was called Replaced. I thought Replaced
Mm.
came out,
Mm.
but this does look pretty cool. So I'm probably gonna check it out.
Yeah, I'm not
Especially if
sure.
it's on Game Pass.
I'm not sure who made it, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's not a big team, and like it's pretty bare bones options wise, where like you can't control the sensitivity of the sticks, and that's kind of been troubling because like it's the sensitivity is kind of high.
Mm.
But like it's the kind of game where like I got used to it after like 30 minutes. Like I learned to like just be softer with the stick. But it that sucks, and that could lead to like some like spots where you swing the camera too hard and then like you didn't platform to where you wanted to. I
Right.
noticed that a little bit, and then like the geometry, like it's very slopey and like very like it's very shapy. Like there's all different types of like crag shapes and stuff, and like
Mhm.
when you walk on that stuff, the physics can like you fall
Turn
between
on you.
cracks in weird ways. Yeah, like the
Oh wow.
physics is kind of a little like like you feel like when you do something, when you like walk up a slope and then like you jump to a platform, you kind of feel like, oh, I don't know if I was supposed to do that. You know what I mean? But it's
Hey,
cool. Like
Superland was incredible because half the shit I did, I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this or if I
right,
can do this, but I'm
right.
gonna try it. And if it works,
So it's
perfect.
that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. But yeah,
By the
I
way,
think people should play it.
it's developed by Phi Games, PHI
Right,
Games. Yeah.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna bounce around a little bit here. We'll come back. I know you had another game or two. We'll come back to you, Jeff. Uh, Chris Davis, you had a
Hi.
game.
I've played downloadable content of a game.
Yes, that is what I am alluding to.
Okay.
Hit
I
us.
can talk about it.
Okay. Do you want me to set the game up? It's fucking Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. In
Oh
Intergrade.
shit! One of us finally played that.
One of us
Yeah, I was
finally
kind of
played it.
surprised I was the only one that played this just yet.
Eh,
Yeah, he's right.
eh.
No other game has ever come out since that game did. Not like we're playing
It
anything
was early June, and like I can't think of that much that was out at the time to compete with it.
It's not about that much being out at the time. It's about that much having come out in the past, decade. That there's plenty of other things to play.
I mean, that's
And I don't
fair.
think any of us were so impressed with Final Fantasy VII Remake that we were, chomping at the bit to play DLC for it.
Yeah,
But but as, all that aside, you playing as Yuffie, right?
Yuffie.
Yes.
How's that going?
So I finished it. It's only about 6.5, 7 hours long. Probably a little bit more if you kind of stretch out exploring more of Sector 7, but no, it's a fun little 2-chapter side story that takes place from the time of the Sector 5 reactor to when the Sector 7 plate falls. And it's just all about Yuffie and her like interactions and what she was actually doing in Midgar at the time. And
Speaking
it's
of, why is she even in Midgar? Isn't that that's one of those weird liberties they're taking with Final Fantasy VII this time around?
no,
Like, she
it
wasn't
kind of
originally
makes
introduced
sense.
until
So
Wutai.
she is an agent. She has always been an agent of the Wutai government, which
Mhm.
was at war with Shinra before the scope of this game.
I do remember that. Yes.
And so she has been sent on a mission to Midgar to infiltrate Shinra headquarters and steal a rumored ultimate materia that they've been developing. And being that she is a materia hunter, that's always been part of her character. I mean, that makes sense for her to be here. So,
Sure.
but yeah, that's the first chapter is her trying to figure out how to get in, and the second chapter is her getting in and kind of paving the way for Cloud and the rest of the crew to actually infiltrate the base.
Mhm.
Oh, so it's kind of like she's kind of having an impact from like they're not aware of her presence, but she's impacting all the stuff that you play towards the end of that game. Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying?
So remember in Remake how when you finally started to go attack Shinra headquarters, the building was kind of like deserted, and there was nobody really around. Yuffie partly explains that.
Okay.
Um,
Ew.
so you only play as Yuffie. She has a companion, Sinan or Sinan, or don't remember ever how to pronounce his name.
An
Sonan.
original character. An original character, right? This is.
I don't think he's original. I want to say he's probably one from one of those other 7 side games.
Like Dirge of Cerberus. Was that
maybe
was he introduced?
Maybe
Lord, I hope not.
Crisis Core. I don't know. I never played any of those, so I don't know for certain. But he's supposedly a part of the canon in some way.
Gotcha.
And he's not playable. He's a full companion character in this. He kind of acts as kind of like a tank for you, taking a lot of damage and healing you over time. In fact, a lot of his materia and his weapon style is specifically designed to encourage you to play as nothing but Yuffie. And one of his key things is he can synergize with Yuffie to where instead of just being independently acting and attacking and doing whatever, he'll actually do exactly what you're doing. So if you're using a ranged attack, he'll use a ranged attack. You can combine abilities to where you can do more damage. And overall, he's a pretty useful kind of side tool. Yuffie herself is actually really fun. I think that if she would have been there in the launch game, she probably would have been everyone's favorite character to play as.
Yeah, she does look very. It looks very. I mean, honestly, the base game combat was really snappy, but the chaos happening on screen right now, or not right this second, but in the footage you were showing a second ago, was pretty cool.
Yeah, she's very fast. She's kind of like a halfway point between Tifa and Aerith as far as how their combat goes. Tifa's more all about the upfront physical, punching and combat like that. And then Aerith was always about that kind of ranged magic-based attacks. And she can do both of those. She's very fast up front with her star. And then she can throw her star and it will kind of lock onto and stick with an enemy for a while. And then while it's automatically doing damage over time, she can cast ninjutsu magic to damage an enemy from a distance. And you can modify your ninjutsu with different materia to have like fire or thunder effects. And it can also change based on the type of ninja star weapon you've chosen to equip. Yeah. And she's I think she's a lot of fun. I think they learned lessons from what they did with 7 Remake and were just like, yeah, let's fix a lot of this bullshit. And seems like they did. Again, she's very fast. She's very fun to play as. Her character is nice and fun and quirky. And I think
I would hope.
Yeah, as you would hope, yeah.
I mean, she's kind of a fan favorite from the original, right? I mean, I don't really know how people.
I mean, for an optional character, I mean, yeah, she was a fan favorite, but I think that because she was an optional character and wasn't crucial to the overall story, she kind of got the backseat to the rest of the cast.
I'm kind of hoping that since they're making DLC for this character, and obviously they put time into kind of fleshing out her combat mechanics and whatnot, I'm hoping that's kind of indicative of like maybe she's going to play a bigger role, like a more central role in the remake going forward. Like maybe she'll be
I think it's pretty safe to say that every character is going to have a bigger part. I mean, if you look at the rest of and I have a horrible memory, so like Biggs
Vincent?
and Wedge and
Jesse,
Jesse?
Jesse. Thank you. What is their group called? Avalanche? Are
Avalanche.
they
Yeah.
part of? Yeah, Avalanche. Those characters had 40 times as much screen time in the remake than they did in the original game. So my assumption
Mhm.
is yes, Yuffie is going to be the same. Vincent, right? Is his name?
Yeah, Vincent,
Yes.
Kate
Yes.
Sith are the ones we don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, Kate Sith
I,
makes
I,
a
I
brief appearance
well,
in
yeah, but that's what I'm
today's
saying. My
game. Yeah.
assumption is, they're going to have much bigger roles. Sid is going to have a much bigger role. Is my assumption is what they're trying to do. They're trying to take these characters that weren't the main characters in the original game and explore them. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII has come so far in the decades it's been out. You have all of the all of the different mediums it's been in. Advent Children and shit, and they're trying to take those characters that people loved and actually make them kind of a bigger deal in this. So just everyone gets to see their favorite character, whichever one it might be, more is my
Yeah.
assumption.
And they're playing. I think they're playing. This is a good example of playing well into those character strengths. Like Yuffie is a materia hunter ninja, so a lot of her character and her movement style is ninja esque. Like you're not really climbing ladders and looking for things like that or going to elevators specifically. Like you're climbing like walls and you're jumping from like cranes and stuff like that. She's a very vertical character. And they're playing that really both in the combat and in just the regular platforming.
So real
Mhm.
quick, since I have the PS4 version of this, is it still a free upgrade to get this on PS5, or how does
It
that
is a
work? Do you
free
know?
upgrade to get the upgrade for remake, but to get the Intergrade content, it's a separate purchase, and that
Mm,
purchase is $20.
gotcha. Cool. Well, this is on my list to eventually go. And this is probably one of those things I'll probably wait until they officially like unveil part 2 or whatever, and I'm getting hype and I need something to fill that time. But
If
it
you're
looks
if
pretty
you're a
cool.
really big Seven fan overall, I don't think you really want to skip out on this content,
Yeah, I'm not planning
because
on it.
it does push the story just a little bit further down the road, and it does confirm one of the main theories has been behind the remake.
Oh, it confirms it?
Yes.
I'm assuming it has to do with like the ending of the remake.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
color me
I'll
intrigued.
I'll echo Nick that I was waiting until we get closer to remake part 2 or whatever to play this, just because, like Nick said, the hype of that one coming out. Obviously, I'm going to be in a mood to play it, so might as well wait until then.
Nobody knows what that game even is yet, so
Nope.
we'll have to wait and see. All right. Bouncing around more. Nolan. Yeah.
What a
I know you didn't put anything on the dock officially, but is there anything you want to?
I mean, I've been playing games, just nothing new. I played a lot more Skyward Sword. That's still chugging along. I
I have a
played
question
more.
for you.
What's up?
How far are you in Skyward Sword?
The last thing I did was I went into one of the little Shadow Realm places in the
Mhm.
desert, and I
Okay.
got the hookshot thing. And I
Gotcha.
believe I'm entering the next dungeon now.
Yeah. So I'm in the. I'm in the. So I had to. I went back and looked it up because I kind of forgot the structure of this game, right? So it's
Mhm.
3 sets of 3 dungeons.
Okay,
So
that
there's
makes
like
sense.
9 dungeons total. I'm on the 6th dungeon, and I officially hit the thing where I'm in a room and I have no fucking clue what to do, which
Hmm.
doesn't happen to me often in a Zelda game. So I'm feeling a little deflated. But I was just asking because I was wondering if you'd already done that.
Okay, gotcha.
So what else? What else you got?
Bernadette and I have been playing more Overcooked 2. Still enjoying that. We're going through, like I said, all the 4-star levels and getting angry at each other, but not really. But those levels are frustrating when you have to be perfect. And then I did play a game the other day. It's like Stick Fighter or something like that. Hold on,
I saw that pop up on Steam while I was streaming the other night. It said Nolan is playing whatever you're about to
Yeah,
say, and I was like,
yeah.
"What?"
Yeah, Stick Fight the game.
There we
It's just
go.
like a really, really simple game. There's only a couple buttons, and everyone's just a bunch of stick figures, and you're fighting each other, and then guns drop into the world, and you can shoot each other. And one of the guns shoots
Is
snakes,
that
and
like
it's just
those old Flash games?
Kind
Just,
of
like go to like addicting games and play.
kind of thing. I would compare it to like almost like a Nidhogg. You're like very fast paced.
Yeah.
But on this, it's just like a single screen, and the last person alive wins the level, and then it just goes on to the next level. But that's why I actually ended up because I was playing it with some people, and I was saying how this kind of reminds me of Ragdoll Kung Fu, and none of them have heard of that, and so that's why I ended up tweeting the trailer for it the other day, just because that reminded me of Ragdoll Kung Fu, in which Nick knows who developed that.
Do I?
The company that became Media Molecule.
I know this.
I'm just saying, you're a fan of Media Molecule. Their
Am
most
I?
recent games.
Look at
Do you
Nick.
not know?
He's
I
Little
mean,
he's a
Media
Nightmares?
beautiful
Molecule.
boy with a completely empty head. You're putting
Wait,
too much
Little,
too much pressure on him.
Or
I thought you
Nick.
really liked Little. I thought you really liked Little Nightmares.
that's not. That's not
Is it
the
not?
same.
I thought it was.
No. No, you're thinking Little Big Planet
Yeah,
is
Little Big
is Media
Planet.
Molecule.
I know Little.
Little Nightmares is Tarsier, I think is the name of the studio.
Okay,
So I
maybe I
was
mixed them up.
I was sitting here, I was like, I'm not that big a fan of Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
I could have
I
sworn
mean, it's cool.
that they did that one
We've
too.
decided that that's your new identity, Nick. You're a Little
Yeah.
Big Planet guy.
that and professional
And
Star Wars
dreams.
New Hope reviewer.
Yeah.
Maybe I just mixed them up for some reason. I could have sworn that they did both. Okay, well never mind. I knew that they did Little Big Planet, obviously.
Here's
That's
Nick
what they
to
got
be
their
like,
fame.
hey, check out the new custom level I built in Little Big Planet 2, guys.
Oh shit.
I could have sworn there was some connection. Let me Google it. Maybe it's like somebody that worked on it or something.
Well, no, while Nolan's googling that, I'll turn the floor to Crispy to see what's up with him because I have no clue. Because we're
What's up
close
with
your mouth,
me?
Crispy. Yeah, what's up with you? This is
Oh
what
my
shooting from the
God,
hip
I
on a
don't-
podcast looks like.
Okay, so I haven't been playing fucking shit except for a shit ton of Final Fantasy 14. I am still not done with the MSQ, but I'm only 3 quests away, and I have an amazing amount of anxiety every time I think about doing it because I don't want the story to end. So I'm leveling alt jobs, doing a lot of daily queues, and existing in kind of a state of ennui in that game, if I'm being completely honest. I just need to I've missed my last couple of like Monday big content drops. Not drops, but like Monday's the day when I've been doing like a lot of content that I haven't done yet. And I've missed the last few of them, so I'm kind of just like trying to figure out, where I'm going from here. But
How you can
still
stretch
playing.
it out.
Yeah, still playing a shit ton of that, and we're getting closer to Endwalker, so that's crazy exciting. And I guess also, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Crispy, do you like that game enough to play it again with me?
What do you play it again?
Just fuck it. Start a new character.
Start
Start
from
from the
No,
scratch.
beginning.
well,
Start a
I
new
mean, okay,
character
but
with
here's
me?
the thing, man. Like I've, there's still a bunch of jobs in the game I haven't even started yet. So like the other day, like the other night at like 3 in the morning, me and my roommate were playing, and we're just like, let's just start new jobs. And I'm like, I'm gonna be a lancer, and he's like, I'm gonna be a warrior or whatever. So like, yeah, here I am, fucking 500 hours later, like starting Lancer back with like only 2 skills, like level 3, and I'm just like, yeah, this is fun. So yeah, I mean, anytime would be a great time for you to jump into that because I've always got low level shit.
Just
to-
20 minutes ago, Jeff told us that he's like, you gotta be cool with it in just 2 hours,
2
hours
hours.
of gaming a night.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's wild, man. The problem that I'm having right now is that like I'm relying a lot on like the duty finder queues, but I play super late at night just because of how my work schedule is, and the class I'm playing is DPS, which there are more DPS in the game than anything. So like my queues are incredibly long, so I can't do anything because I'm waiting for my fucking queues, and it's like half an hour long queues to get into any activity, which sucks. But other than that, I have been living my life. You know, I made a new Gunpla recently. I finished a real grade Tallgeese from Gundam Wing, which is
Nice.
fucking legit, fucking dope ass mobile suit. Yeah, and I don't know. I've been watching fucking shit on YouTube like I always do.
Keep talking, because Nick is either creeping on you or he's dead.
No,
Nick is
ain't no
creeping on me.
It's a little bit of
I
both.
I have
Oh,
like
Nick, what happened? Oh, he
look at that
froze.
face. That face is
He's
shit.
frozen in time. This is it. This is Nick's finally had a brain aneurysm. He's gonna drop dead.
So yeah, I got into Gunpla when I started having panic attacks.
Dude,
Uh
it's super chill. Like it's
yeah,
super
yeah,
calming.
just because it was nice to just like shave shit down, you know what I mean, and sand
Yeah,
pieces and like polish stuff up.
yeah,
But I Gunpla is like addictive, so like I got into the hobby.
yeah,
I built 2 of them, and I still have like 11
yeah.
unbuilt.
Dude, I
unbuilt.
went fucking crazy last spring when the pandemic started. I went fucking nuts, man. I bought like 10, 20 kits off of Amazon, and I got through maybe like a third of them. And they're still out there. Like my fucking my house has a fireplace, and the fireplace is just kind of like blocked off by stacks of Gunpla boxes of like things I haven't built yet. And then I just bought another one a couple weeks ago, like a fucking madman. But I finished that one too. I didn't just do the Tall Geese. I also did the Gundam Mudrock, which is another super badass
Are you
kit.
buying these locally or are you buying them online?
I'm buying them online because I was buying them at Hobbytown, which is a hobby store really close to my house, but they closed last year because of the pandemic.
Mm.
And the
Oh,
only other place around me that I think sells kits is Target. And first of all, fuck that. Second of all, they only have like 4 kits. It's like the same 4 kits at every Target. It's like the original Gundam, the original like Char Zaku, and then like I think fucking like the Gundam Barbados from Iron Blooded Orphans and something else. I don't know.
so I
Something
don't know if
Gundam
it's
Seed.
still there, but I was taken to a Gun Plus store over by Mueller near where the Alamo Draft House is.
Oh, I've heard of that. I haven't been there, but I've heard that there's a store over there.
It's pretty
Gun
small,
Plus
but
store?
like
Yeah, they do a bunch of like kind of like import toys and collectibles, don't they?
Well, that's what I was gonna say, Crispy, and
Yeah.
because I got you a Gunpla a while back.
Yeah, the
Um,
Strike, I think the Strike Freedom, one of
yeah,
those. Yeah, yeah.
but there's like a bookstore called Kinokuniya, that's like
Hmm.
in like
oh yeah,
I don't remember the cross street, but they have a lot of like Gunpla there, fairly cheap from what I remember. Don't get me wrong; they also have some
Yeah.
bigger ones.
yeah. It's
in
a
the back.
airport
It
in
kind of
Lamar.
sucks. It kind of
Yeah.
sucks buying them online because like a lot of places, some of the kits that I've bought are like what they call P Bandai, which is like
Mhm.
Bandai has this like exclusive like almost subscription service, I think, that you have to sign up for, and then if you're signed up, they do like limited releases of like special kits,
Hmm.
and then if you're not like in Japan or like not a P Bandai member, you just have to like wait for resellers to start selling them.
Yeah.
And then when they sell them, it's like, you know, what should have been like a $30 kit's like a fucking $60 to $90 kit, which blows, really fucking sucks. But some of them are cool enough that it's kind of worth it. There's 2 really fucking dope kits coming out later this year. In November, there's they're both Gundam Wing kits. One of them is the Leo S custom, which is from this old like Gundam Wing manga that I read when I was a kid called I don't even remember what it's fucking called. But like it's this like dope ass like duelist fucking Leo unit that looks really cool. And then they're doing the Tall Geese Flugel, like Flugen or something. It's like a modified version of Tall Geese that instead of having the rocket boosters has like giant angel wings and has like a fucking lance. It looks so cool. I'm like doing more Gunpla than I am video games these days, so sorry for my um modeling tangent there
No,
for a
that's cool. That's
second.
cool.
You should be ashamed of
But yeah,
yourself,
I
Crispy.
know.
I'm just
I,
teasing.
but I am excited. I'm a little afraid and excited for next month because of Deathproof or Deathloop. Deathloop.
Mm,
Yeah,
Deathloop.
finally
Which, by
coming
the
out.
way, relates to the reason Dark Messiah of Might and Magic came up was because of Deathloop. That's an arcane
Oh
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I played Dark Messiah when it came out, and that was pretty cool. That was like the first game I remember playing because I wasn't really into like the early Elder Scrolls, but that's the first game I remember playing that had like the melee and like magic combat that like felt good. That was like kind of worked. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
liked that game.
I'm pretty excited to play it. I've been hearing nothing but good things about it, and it's an arcane game, and I pretty much everything arcane has done that I've played has been pretty excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, I found
By
it.
the
I
way,
found it.
I do apologize for dropping out there. My internet decided to shit the bed. We are still recording the pod. We're not in a break right now. This is still
No,
a
we're not
podcast.
yet.
No, this is still we're gone.
Real quick, Chris.
Cool.
It's called
Yeah.
Toy Dojo.
Toy Dojo.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up.
So
Nice.
Nick, I also did found why I got those confused. The lead designer of Ragdoll Kung Fu, while at Tarsier, went on to co-found Media Molecule.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah.
interesting.
So that's why I got them confused. I didn't remember seeing the connection there. But yeah,
wait. Was he originally with Media Molecule and then co-found Tarsier, or the other way around? Because Tarsier
other way
came
around.
well out. Okay.
Yeah, he was with Tarsier. And
Did you tell me Tarsier is older than Media Molecule? Because as far as I know, Tarsier only did
founded
little.
2004.
Oh. Well, never mind then. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
That's all good. I
But
mean,
it makes sense
no one
now.
knows everything. But yeah, so that's why I had gotten them confused. But yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, because now I'm paranoid about my internet, let's take a quick break. We come back. I think we have a few more quick mentions game-wise. We'll answer some questions. We'll wrap up with the 4-player minute. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show. We have a couple more quick mentions. Jeff, I want to catch up with you for a second. You have a game that you mentioned you've started playing.
Yeah, I played 12 minutes of that game. 12 minutes.
Perfect.
So you played the whole game.
Because I want to be clear. 12 minutes is probably going to be a huge topic of conversation next week. So
it's not a game about
right,
looping time.
Let's bang this out quick. This is what I'm going to tell you. It's a point and click adventure with a top-down perspective and a tiny apartment where you can basically interact everything with everything. It seems to me. And here's what I'll tell you. In my initial playthrough, I did something. There was an object on the counter. I grabbed it. I was like, I wonder if I could interact this with this. I did it. It did something. And then I had a revelation in the game that made me turn the game off, stand up, and be like, this game's got to be fucking pretty good. Like, it's without spoiling anything, like...
You picked up a fork and you put it into an electrical socket. That's what it did.
I wonder if...
It's good. It's good. I picked an object off the counter. I was like, I wonder if I... Because you can, like, it's... So okay, here some caveats. You can play this on PC, right? That's probably where you want to play it.
Yes.
But if not, it's on consoles. Like, it feels okay. It's just a little sluggish because the mouse movement isn't as great on a
analog.
Like, bro, why? Like, why don't you have just an accelerator button on one of the triggers if you're not using the trigger? Like, why not make it so that way, like, you can zip around faster with normal, or you can press it and tighten up the motion. That way you're not just like, there we go, like it's slow. But yeah, so of course there's going to be, like, on consoles there's going to be problems with that stuff, but I'm down for a game like this anyway. I like point and click adventures, and this one seems like the kind of one where, like, it doesn't do the like it doesn't do the it doesn't do the Lucasfilm uh, game thing of like when you try and interact with an object, it's like, nope, can't do that. Like that doesn't make sense going together. Like it
Mm.
doesn't seem to do that. Like I grabbed a mug. Like randomly, my wife's in the kitchen with me. She's like, "Oh, hold on a second." She like walks off into the room, and like there's just a mug sitting there. I had it in my inventory. I was like, I wonder if I can just drag the mug to things, and like I dragged it to the sink, and he filled the mug with water, and now I have water in a mug. In most point and click adventures, your thought process is instantly like, okay, the water mug is for something. But in this game,
Sure.
the water mug is for something. What is it that you want to do with the water mug? I bet you, if you grab the water mug and drag it over to your wife, you'll throw the water onto your wife. Like I bet you that'll happen.
Because
Like
that's
I
the first thing I think of when I fill a mug with water is, can I splash this on my wife?
Yeah, right. So like I'm pretty sure you can, because that's the thing with this game it seems to be doing. It's like it's a tight environment, like it's a tight gameplay environment, but like the interactivity and the kind of the mechanics between
It's
each
it
like thing, it seems to be like
It's
a
it
lot
seems like
deeper.
it's a lot about not I don't want to say exploring because obviously you're exploring a very small environment, but exploring this very small environment and seeing all of the different things that you can do and interact with and see how that affects this,
Right,
12 minutes. Yeah.
right.
It
Because
seems to me like if you were going to make a quote unquote like Groundhog's Day like time loop type thing, the easiest way to make that engaging is to like the idea obviously is to try and change. You're going through a time loop, so you want to change the outcome every time you go through the time loop. And the easiest way to do that, or not easiest way, but like the most interesting way to do that, is to make everything interactive, and that way give you the most amount of freedom to experiment and see what happens. And if this game
right.
is trying to just make that the scope of your interactivity super large, I feel like that's going to be really awesome to experiment with.
Right. The thing that I'm afraid of that I haven't I haven't seen for myself is like like what happens after you go through this a bunch of times. Like, do you get to speed up those processes? Can
Mm-hmm.
you get, or do I have to watch all the cutscenes and all the dialogue all over again? Like I'm not quite sure at this point how that plays out. Like over time that'll be annoying, I'm sure. But
Well, I will say this: it's reviewing very well, and
it's,
I
man,
it is.
I'll tell you, Nick, it's in 4 minutes, right? I grabbed an object. It literally is you, like the tutorial for this game is like you stash the keys for the house. It's very Gone Home, right? You stash the keys for the
Hmm.
house in a rock in a plant, and that's how they teach you how to like interact with objects and pick them up and look at them, and then find objects inside objects, right? And then how to use the object is like use the key to get into your house, and then from there it's like open season. Like there's a thing where your wife's in the bedroom, and then like she's coming out. She's like, "I'll be out in a minute, honey." And like you're free to do whatever. You can like grab a mug and throw it at the wall, and she'll be, "What the hell is that?" And then you're like, like things
I threw a
happen.
mug
Like,
against the wall.
yeah, right. It's literally, I'm pretty sure the game is literally like 12 minutes, and how you can variate what happens in that environment until you find this path, right? Um,
And I do think too, and you can see this in the trailer. And obviously, I think by the time we talk about this next week, several of us probably will have played a good portion, if not all of this. I would imagine it's not very. I hear it's like 6 or 7 hours long. Um,
It's 12
and
minutes.
ha, good one, Nolan. But like even in the trailer, you can see decisions being made that then alter the dialogue. It's not like the same loop every single time. Like it's kind of like watching Groundhog's Day. He goes through the same loop over and over and over again, but each time he tries something new shit happens because of the decisions you make, and that's where it's going to vary. And hopefully, dialogue and scenarios don't get repetitive, which is going to be really impressive if the whole game, even if a whole 7 hour game takes place under one roof in that one tiny space, how you can keep that feeling fresh and exciting for 5 to 7 hours is where this game is gonna succeed or fail. And based on the way it's being received critically, it seems like they've succeeded. So I'm really fascinated to see how that plays out. But yeah, we'll talk more about that next week. I'm glad. Honestly, Jeff's like playing for 4 minutes and freaking out is kind of like maybe the
It
best, like the most exciting thing I've heard about it as an
it was
anecdote.
it was just super cool to I did something drastic. Like I was just like, oh, let me just see what happens, and like I did something, and then there was these repercussions for that, like emotionally to me, that came after that. That I was like oh no, and then like I just turned it off and was like, this game's gonna be pretty good.
All right,
Like
Jeff,
He was
I'm
like,
gonna.
"What happens?" He was like, "What happens if I take this glass and drag it to my butt?" Oh no. The
uh,
repercussions.
severe repercussions. After I get I've already installed it. I'm gonna be playing it this weekend. After I get a little ways into it, and I kind of have a feel for it. Jeff, I'm gonna be hitting you up because I want to know what the fuck you did.
okay,
All right. Real quick, I just wanted to mention I started playing Chernobylite, which is what Chris Davis talked about last week, and I'm not super far. I'm like 3 or 4 hours into it at this point. I just wanted to give some quick first impressions on it myself because when Chris Davis talked about it last week, he had already finished the entire game. I'm coming fresh off of finishing Stalker, Call of Pripyat, which I did over the weekend, which is kind of strange, the timing, how I went from playing Stalker to playing what is basically Stalker, just kind of in a different format. Um, but I mean, not the exact. Chris Davis is squinting at me like that's not an accurate statement. But I mean, like you're dealing with the same shit. You're in the zone. You're in Pripyat. You're talking to stalkers. They are in the zone doing the same thing that stalkers are doing in Stalker. You know what I mean? Like
I
there's
mean,
just a
no.
lot of
They're
Okay.
both Chris Davis games.
hey, I'm not. This is not me knocking it. I'm just saying the timing is awkward. That I finished Stalker and then Chernobylite came out, and I'm kind of jumping right into that. And there's a lot of overlap there in terms of like subject matter, but at the same time, the things this game is doing that are unique are pretty cool. It's really starting to get its hooks in me. I'm getting a feel for like it has the you go out, you do missions like one mission per day. You're collecting stuff that you bring back to your base that you then use like it's kind of like Fallout 4 and how you're like putting together bases and whatnot, which is kind of cool. But the things that I'm noticing that are really unique, um, aside from the base building, which I'm really digging, is you actually recruit people and bring them back to your base, and the people that you bring back can are basically what allows you to grow your skill tree. So like the different people you talk to can train you and you can use skill points to do different things, right? But like
Yeah.
instead of just like, okay, I'm going to talk to John, and John is like an expert in he's like a
Ear.
he's ex-military, so he can like teach you stealth, right? And like that's his thing. Instead of that, it's more like, okay, this person maybe kind of a specialist, but when you go and you like select, okay, I want to put a skill point into stealth, it's not like, okay, congratulations, your stealth just went up 1 point. It's like, okay, it takes you to a whole separate area where he teaches you, like he verbally tells you how to do something, and then you have to do it. And like when I was like upgrading my accuracy, he took me to like a shooting range, and there was like 5 or 6 bottles lined up, and I had to shoot them one at a time as he's like talking to me and telling me how to do it and like how to like you know focus, and try not to like move too much and focus and like that kind of stuff. It just seems way more hands-on, um,
Yeah.
which is really cool. And I would imagine like there's probably people you may not end up being able to bring back to your base depending on the decisions you make, and that may lock you out of branches of the skill tree, quote unquote, entirely, which is kind of cool. Um, and I don't know, and I've done like several of the missions so far. And usually the missions, if they're not like story missions, they range from like it's basically like go into this open environment and find this supply drop that was dropped in here. So you're walking around exploring and picking up supplies until you find this like cargo container that was dropped by an airplane. It's very Dying Light in that way, kind of. But I'm really enjoying the kind of like the pacing. It's not like the super active shooter. And maybe it ramps up over time, but like I'm walking around these environments and there's like 4 or 5 soldiers kind of walking around, and I can choose to like sneak by them or take them out. And because I'm also crafting like individual components of my gun, like the first mission I did, my gun was a piece of shit. Like I could barely aim. I was super inaccurate. The recoil was super heavy. But when I went back to the base after I collected some materials, I was able to build like a machine that lets me craft specifically like cylindrical metal pieces, so I could use to craft new gun barrels. And that's the kind of thing that I attached to my gun, and all of a sudden I have my recoil's a lot less severe than it was, and I have like this like custom made sight. And also, like you're at the base and you're talking to this dude, and he's like, "Hey, it's really depressing around here. Maybe you should put like a plant." And that actually like has an impact on like the morale of the people in your base. Like you have to try and make it feel more hospitable, or people are going to start like threatening to leave, or they're just not going to do what you tell them, or they're not going to fail more when you send them out on missions, that kind of stuff. So there's this whole component to it that I think is really interesting. And I'm not a huge fan of the like come back to a base and then step through a portal and then I'm in this totally separate zone. I really like things being interconnected, but I'm getting over it because I think a lot of the other stuff that kind of keeps it all together here is pretty interesting.
How are you
So,
liking the supernatural aspects?
I just kind of stumbled into that first time today, where I walked into a building and I heard this like creature that kind of walking. I walk into this room and it looked like there was like shadows of people on the wall. It looked
Yeah,
like
I know
like
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, it looked like people had been like just like disintegrated, and like you were seeing like their shadow. Like they
It's
talk
like
about like
blast shadows. Yeah.
when nuclear bombs go off, you're seeing like the silhouette of people. It looks like that, and I was like, this is creepy. And then this like portal opened, and this creature came walking out of it, and I realized that's like places where it's walking through walls, and like that was pretty weird, pretty creepy. See, I don't know. I'm digging it. I'm digging it so far. Hopefully I'll stick with it. But the only thing that would stop me at this point is just kind of like I might be burning myself out on like the setting and the subject matter, because I just spent like almost 30 hours playing Stalker, and there's just a
I
lot of
I think it's different enough in its like gameplay design and its
absolutely it is.
story
Yeah.
to really keep you going. Um, the one thing I would really encourage you to do when you're out on a mission sometime is just so you've noticed how when you're playing through a mission, eventually it starts getting stormy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Let that play out and see what happens.
Like, are you saying like in the mission it starts to the weather starts to change?
Yeah, if you stick around in a mission for a while, like a storm will start to hit and something will happen.
Gotcha. Okay, I can do that. Um, I'll report back after I finish this, which I do plan to do. But this weekend's crazy, guys. Fucking Ghost of Tsushima expansion's coming out this weekend. 12 minutes is out. I'm playing Psychonauts. I have so much on my plate, but I'm gonna try and make sure I stick with this because it is surprisingly deep. It's deeper than I was expecting. So, all right. I think that's it for impressions. Unless anybody has any quick mentions else they want to throw out there, then in that case, Nolan, you know the drill. Let's answer some questions from our supporter, Drunken Merchant, and
Our
or
supporter.
other supporters who have also asked questions.
All right, let's do it. First question this week from Drunken Merchant. What's the hardest you guys have ever pushed your PCs? Mine was playing Left 4 Dead 1 demo on my Windows XP desktop way back in the day. It ran at about 2 frames per second.
Mm.
I have a vivid memory of when the first Titanfall came out. And I got it, and I want to say I had like a 760
Mm-hmm.
could not handle it, and just like the game would start like fucking artifacting, and like I think I was streaming once and it started happening, and like it was something I'd never really seen before, where like a good third of like a slash would go through the screen and it would look, there would just be like random numbers and shapes and shit, and at first I thought it was something in the game, but it turns out I was trying to use too much of my graphics card memory that didn't exist, and it was freaking out.
Mm.
Um,
I think one of the worst I've ever experienced was trying to play one of the early, like, pre-alpha builds of Star Citizen. on my
Oh,
end,
fuck.
like years ago. Like I tried to load into just like the hangar with like the ship, and my computer was just like,
Not having it.
what are you doing to me? I can't handle this." So hey, who Star Citizen? Whatever happened there, huh?
Yeah, right.
You don't want to know.
Coming in
Uh,
2028.
you know,
Uh,
I haven't like pushed my PC to the point where like I've like caused any serious issues. You know, I just came from using a 1070 before, and I think I think because I was using Red Dead 2 as kind of like that's what I wanted to play the most, and I was trying to get the most bang for my buck out of that. And Nolan actually helped me optimize that a little bit, but like I was pushing it to the point where I was like, oh, my frame rate is definitely not very consistent here, and there's way more popping than I would like. Nolan worked some magic and got it looking pretty good. Now it runs nice and
I bet.
smooth with the 37 3070. But yeah, I'm still waiting for that game. I'm waiting for something new that really pushes it, and then I'm just gonna just see how far I can get it to go. Strangely enough, Red Dead Redemption 2 at this point is not like it doesn't. I don't think like 30 series cards really even struggle with it much.
No, I think Rockstar learned a lot when they were doing the ports of GTA 5, and they figured that how to get a good port out in about a year. So,
Yeah.
My answer would be, so back in the day, I don't know who gave it to me for Christmas, but one of the games I got was a PC copy of a game called Incoming. This was back in 1998, and it was one of those first games that really wanted you to have a video accelerator card. And it was still in the early days of like 3DFX and just like all those different brands kind of competing for market share. And I could maybe get that thing with my dad's Pentium 2 166 megahertz computer to go more than like 5 frames a second with it. But we eventually got a GeForce 4200 graphics card that changed everything, and that thing actually became playable. No, it wasn't I got a 4200 later on my other computer. It was a Voodoo 3, I think that's what I had.
What are all of these things you're mentioning?
I'm talking like
no clue.
really old school graphics card companies back in the day, Nick.
Yeah.
Like
That's bananas.
it was something, but I really had to work to play this game that turned out to be kind of mediocre.
Yeah. Well, we've been there.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you have a PC right now? How hard have you pushed your Xbox?
No. I have so I'm like a weird, like I PC gamed back in the day way more than console gamed, because like when I was 10, my parents went to like a computer, expo, and like I ended up with like a sick PC, back in the day. But before that, my uncle had like a 386, and I would try and like run Descent on it, and like some games that like early 3D games that shit would never play for like 4 frames a second, like impossible to do.
Descent you
But
had to put some work into, yeah.
yeah, so yeah, like now I don't really PC game. I'm in your boat, Nick. Like I don't.
I'm a PC gamer now.
See,
I don't know if you've
listen,
heard
you
this.
see what just happened to you? I watched your Twitter feed go like, my shit's broken. I can't play my games. This thing, they said this blinking light is, I don't know what's happening.
It was so scary.
Yeah, right. So like, I don't want to do that shit. I don't want to do that shit. Even when I built the PC that I have now, that's not now an old piece of shit. Like, like a lot of times me playing a game was having 40 minutes to like get it right and set it this and do this and make sure it's working and that this thing's working, and then I can play it. Like I don't have time for that shit now with the kids, so it's tough. But I do. Maybe I'm gonna get a Steam one of them Steam things.
One of them
Deck.
Steam thingies.
Steam decks, yeah, maybe
One of them
Steam
newfangled
things.
Steam thingies.
That sounds like a good idea, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. just get it for your kid. And just be like it's for him when he's old enough.
Right.
But yeah, just in case,
Just like those
before
Star
now.
Wars sets that you bought at Best Buy the other day.
Yeah, and all the
Exactly.
games, everything, basically everything. Everything I now have is just future
Mil-
his.
You're
Milk
a
that
very
for as long as you
considerate
can.
father.
All
Right.
right, Nolan. Next question.
Next question this week from Thorax. With events like PAX now requiring vaccines or testing to go to their venues, do you think deodorant should also be a requirement?
Oh
No.
man.
I'd say
I-
no because
I think they actually technically already are. I think there's like a code of conduct for a lot of these.
They'll boot you out.
hygiene.
Yeah.
yeah, hygiene. Yeah,
I don't know if
Yeah,
they've
it's
ever
just a
booted
polite
someone
way to say
out.
it.
Yeah.
Listen,
You've never smelled so many stranger farts in your life.
So in the last in the last 5 years, I got into fighting games a lot, and we have a local scene, so I've been I'm down FGC now. Like I play competitively, at least locally I do, and yeah, you need that shit at some of those events. You know what I mean? Just because
Those are
Smash
fucking
players, bro.
sweaty.
Smash players be coming in there, be stinking up the place, bro.
Well, Smash players also just have dirty fucking souls, don't they?
That's what I hear. Yeah.
All right, let's
Next
move on.
question.
Next question from Mr. Green Toast. What are your thoughts on the recent news of OnlyFans banning explicit content in October? I bring this up because Tumblr used to be worth $3 billion before shifting away from not safe for work material to entice investors, but drove the fan base away to shrink themselves to a mere 3 million net worth.
I think this is a dumb move, but also the Tumblr thing is especially telling considering that wasn't even like an adult content website, and just removing adult content from that basically sealed their fate.
Yeah.
And OnlyFans, the reason OnlyFans is making headlines right now, the reason this is such a big deal is because if you remove adult content from OnlyFans, what is left? I went to OnlyFans Twitter account today to see what are they saying about it, and it was nothing. It was a bunch of try-hard tweets that have been coming out in the last 3 days of just highlighting content creators that have nothing to do with adult content, and it was fucking weird.
You know what I feel like? I feel like some rich white man was like, all these whores are out here making all this money on OnlyFans, and we need to stop this right now. So
I
let's.
mean, it's probably some version of that bullshit, but at the same time, apparently it has a lot to do with banks being pressured by
the credit card companies like Visa and MasterCard.
Yeah, credit card companies specifically are being basically pressured from religious groups to not accept to not allow to process charges on certain websites porn, porn sites, and OnlyFans being one of those things.
You could say Pornhub.
I mean, the only reason I didn't say Pornhub is because I don't. Hey, look, let me just say.
Careful.
Everyone knows
let me
it.
just say, I enjoy pornography. Who doesn't? I'm not ashamed of it. I just don't know enough about Pornhub specifically. I just do they charge? I don't even know. I don't know what's going on there.
How much does a premium count? Send me the link.
Okay.
Someone check his bank statement. He's fucking lying.
All I'm saying is I just don't use Pornhub. I didn't say I don't watch porn.
He's rated some porn videos higher than Star Wars: A New Hope.
Oh, probably.
Hey, to be fair, I've watched some porn videos that are better than Star Wars: A New Hope.
Oh, Nick.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I went for it. I'm so sorry. Everybody just calm the fuck down. That was a joke.
Just in poor taste, Nick.
But to get back to the original question of just I just can't. I don't. There's a lot of people out there saying acting like this is some decision being made by OnlyFans because they're trying to clean up their act. That has nothing to do with this at all. This is them being pressured, and I just can't imagine a world in which they're gonna do this and it's gonna end up being a good thing for them as a business. They're literally alienating all of their user base and probably I don't know, some absurd percentage of like their content creators. And to be
Bro,
specific, they're only banning explicit sexual content.
I don't understand. Like, it's the fucking religious people that are on that site. Fucking, they're they're just like ousting themselves. Like they're all in their group meeting. Like, yeah, we should stop this. They're all like, yeah, and then they go home and they're like, fuck. Like, what is happening?
Dude,
I don't.
it's there's an episode of South Park where like all the men with their sexual addictions, it's actually like being possessed by aliens or whatever or something like that. And like there's just all these scenes of them talking about like, oh, I would never do that, and they just kind of start shifting their eyes around, looking back and forth. Like there's every time like there's like a woman sitting next to him like, this is ridiculous, and he like glances over at the woman to make sure he's like, is that right? Like that's just it's exactly like that though. Yeah, totally just them like, oh.
Yeah,
That's dumb.
it's fucking. This is not going to be. I cannot see this going well for them. But I mean, to be exact.
I mean,
I got
the
called
question
out
is
today
the
about
question
this.
is who's gonna let's do it right now. Let's invest. Like, now is the time. Like, who's gonna do what OnlyFans is not gonna do? Like, cause I'm throwing my money at them. Like,
Yeah.
straight up. Like, I'm
Dude.
throwing my money at them. You want some money? Like, just that's all you have to do. We do what OnlyFans doesn't.
Dude,
Do the
Surely
same
there's
thing.
already like an alternative like Patreon for porn out there, right?
Oh, I mean, dude,
Porn
you have no
Treon?
idea. Dude, you have no idea.
Patreon.
No one's onto something. No, you have no idea, dude. There's like, there's content creators obviously who are affected by this because this is to be.
I have no idea, but you do, Nick.
No, I've been following this shit all day, man. This is fucking weird. But like, there are obviously this ban is on explicit sexual content, so like actual sex acts, right? So which only affects a certain chunk of the people who create content. A lot of them are just risque and nudity and that kind of stuff. Those apparently aren't affected, except it basically says nudity is still out as long as it follows our guidelines. And it's like, okay, what the fuck are the guidelines?
Yeah,
The
it means
point
no
is, like,
nips. They ain't gonna let you show nips, bro.
This
Like,
the content creators who are affected by this are already like, hey, who wants to create the new OnlyFans, because we will make your company $1 billion industry. Like, OnlyFans is just shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, the problem is that's what OnlyFans was.
Yeah.
Like, OnlyFans is where all of these people went to because they were cool with sex workers, and everyone was like, yes, finally we found like somebody who is
right.
accepts that
Appreciates it.
sex
Yeah.
work is work, and they deserve to
Yeah.
be paid, and it's legit work. But then now all of a sudden they're turning. It's obviously the fear would be if some other company comes through and does something similar, then how many years down the line before they are taken down by the Christians.
Yeah, it's like these people think they're gonna get OnlyFans to stop doing porn, and it's like, what, you think all these sex workers are just going to stop doing this? Like, what do you think? What do you think is gonna happen? It's not that.
Again, I feel like it's some rich white man that's getting upset that like all the strippers realized after COVID that they could make fucking millions of dollars a month online doing exactly what they do, and then now there's a bunch of guys that are like, well, if we can't pimp these girls out, then we need to be able to. So let's cut whatever it is that they're using to make money. It's all
welcome
bullshit.
to the internet, where you can't it's like once you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
You want a new topic for the week too? Isn't there a game coming out like that's a shooter or some shit, like an online shooter that you actually unlock NFTs and like use NFTs? Have you heard about this, Chris Davis? Look it up.
No.
Exactly. Well, while he's looking that up, let's move on to our next question this week from Tack from Alabama. OnlyFans is set to ban all sexual explicit content in October. Does 4Player Network have plans to expand into this newly available market? And if so, when can we expect the pilot episode of 4Peen Podcast?
Man, can I make money right now taking my clothes off online? Like, is that real?
I don't.
I'm
think
sure you
people
could. Not on Twitch.
Dad
No.
I
bods?
don't.
Not on Twitch, but I'm saying
I'm not gonna.
dad bods. Are we doing the dad bods thing?
my
There's
God,
definitely a market.
Let's
Crispy,
do it.
Crispy's camera started auto focusing, and I couldn't figure out what it was doing, and I was
I
like,
thought he was putting his dick in
is
the
he-
camera, and I was
"Is he
scared.
unzipping? Is Crispy unzipping his pants right now?" And then it focused, and I was like, "He is unzipping his pants."
I guess.
You know, I'm gonna
Crispy
be honest.
definitely.
I don't think people want to see this.
I was
And-
gonna say
and-
Crispy definitely has the biggest dick in 4Player.
Nick, it would bring a whole new meaning to Hotdog Bets. A 4-player
Oh,
podcast.
Oh, no.
Ugh, that's
Yeah.
disgusting.
it
Wait.
is.
Oh, I was thinking. I bet I was thinking of some different hot dog bets. I was thinking
That's
like
fun.
stick a hot dog up your ass and then have someone eat
Nope.
it.
Nope.
Wow, I feel like I don't feel like anybody has made a comment like that since Joseph was on the show last.
I have to replace him somehow.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Wow. Next
Because that's
question.
the real bet. No one's gonna be like, "What are you gonna say? Oh, you have a hot dog bet? Like, oh, you have to suck Crispy's dick? So suck it. Like, that's fine. Whatever. Like, that's not a big
Works
deal.
for
That's not
me.
a bad bet. That's not a bad bet. But I'm saying if you have to stick a
Ain't
hot
nothing
dog
gay
up
about
your
getting
ass,
your dick sucked.
if you have to stick a hot dog up your ass and then someone has to eat it, it's way worse of a bet. Like the odds is
That's
risk.
true.
To be fair,
don't-
Crispy has had a really bad history on this website of hot dogs being shoved in his face and him not realizing it.
That is true. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm never gonna make a comment about hot dog bets ever again. Jeff has ruined it. Let's
You
move
know,
on. Next
the
question.
worst part about those is always not. It's not that they're like floppy and phallic. It's not even that they're wet. It's that they're like wet and cold. They're clammy.
Okay, well, freeze 'em.
Nobody wants a clammy.
Oh,
Huh.
listen, they'll be frozen. Then when they go up up your ass, they'll thaw out. And then when you
And
pull
warm
it
up.
out, it's at about 98.6 degrees, and you can eat it.
There you go. All right, let's get on to our final question
Please.
This
week.
episode went places I
Yeah.
never thought it would go. Go ahead. Next question.
From the Drunken Merchant. You were the director for Persona 6. What do the new characters do to summon their personas during battle? For reference, Persona 3, they fire a special gun into their head. Persona 4, they shatter a floating card. And in Persona 5, they rip off their masks. They fart out their personas.
I'm tempted to connect the last question to this to this question, but I'm gonna resist. God.
In Persona 6, all the people in the cast are actually in college for once, not in high school. And to summon their persona,
I'm scared of where you're going with this.
they
He
pull
wants to
out their
fuck 'em.
minimum wage paycheck they get every week and just sigh.
No.
It's
That
more
doesn't
like
work.
Parappa the Rapper, where you have to like do a whole like call and
dance.
response rap dance, and then your persona comes out.
They give themselves a COVID jab.
Punch, kick, punch.
I don't know.
No, none of us like Persona. Terrible question. Next one.
What? I like Persona.
Nolan likes Persona, and he doesn't have an answer. Next question.
I gave an answer. Fuck
No one
you.
answered the question. Next question.
All right. Next question. Ooh, from Gonzo Lude.
Uh-oh.
If you could describe your favorite game of all time in one word, what would it be and why?
Good.
That's
I
you
only
know,
like
Crispy, you're better
I
than
only
this.
like
You're better
good
than this.
I only like good games, man.
Well, Crispy's gonna dodge this question because I don't even think he knows what his favorite game of all time is. Crispy doesn't pick favorite games of all time.
I have detailed my favorite game of all time. I have detailed my top 10 of all time. Stealth, sneaking. Sneaking is the word I would use.
I think you gotta get. Oh man, come on.
Well,
Repeat
the question was one word to describe your favorite game of all time.
Well, yeah, you also have to say what the game is.
Oh, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that, Chris Davis, and I was going to ask, how come the word you wouldn't use to describe it is? I can't really make the noise, but
I don't know what
Nolan.
what the actual word is
Fucking
for
do it.
that sound effect.
Yeah.
First of all, that's not a word. Jeff, do you know what
Onomatopoeia.
your favorite game of all time is? Do you have a
Yeah,
favorite game?
go to me last because no, that's a ridiculous question. No one has a favorite game. They have a bunch of games that could potentially be their
Well,
favorite game.
correct. And
But,
yes, and
man,
just choose from that, list of maybe
yeah,
10, 15 games. Just choose one at random that is one of your favorite games.
I would say, damn.
I got it. The
Okay,
word to describe mine is better. Better than Star Wars: A New Hope.
This motherfucker.
Did you wait until
so
Chris
sorry.
was gone to say
No,
that?
I was hoping he would be here when I said
What's
that, but
Nolan's? Did
he
Nolan
walked
say that?
away.
I haven't gone yet. I'm thinking. I would say. Ooh, I'm trying to think of a good word.
Oh my god.
I-
Oh my god. Sorry.
So I would say, I guess the game would be Binding of Isaac, and like I'm trying to think of a good word, or like I have a word, but I'm trying to think of like a synonym. But I was gonna say like insanity or like mania or something like that.
Manic?
Oh my god.
No.
Man, you know what? Like today, right now, in this moment, I think fucking StarCraft is my favorite game of all time. Like right now,
Fair
today.
enough.
The original StarCraft?
Yeah, and if I had to, I would just say Kerrigan is the word to describe. Like,
Sure.
man, yeah, like that game means a lot to me. Like I played a lot of fucking StarCraft, not even competitively, just like in map creations because I had like a bunch of friends that all played it, and so we all made uh, maps and scenarios and played like comp squashes and shit like that. So yeah, there was a moment in my life where like I was super big on StarCraft, and when I think about it, like my favorite game of all time is like okay, tomorrow and forever. That's the only game that I get to play, and when I think about it right now, like yeah, if I had StarCraft and no other game ever, like I think I could still have fun, for a majority of my time.
Fair enough.
You know what? The word I'm going to use to describe my favorite game of all time is plan. Isn't that what Dutch is always talking about, having a plan?
This motherfucker.
Yeah. No? No?
Sure.
Tahiti.
Or Haiti.
Mangoes.
Mango. Yeah,
Red
there we
Dead
go.
is your favorite game of all time, Nick.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is my favorite game of all time. But as you said, as you put it, you're right. It's you have a bunch of games that are contended. That is the one that currently occupies the space for me.
Crispy,
Yeah.
did you have an answer?
Crispy walked away. Didn't hear my excellent full circle joke. Fuck you, Crispy.
No.
All right.
No, I don't.
Fair
Cool.
enough.
Well, that's all the
right.
questions we have this week. Thanks everybody for asking. Like Nick had mentioned earlier, we do have a form you can fill out at any time if you are a supporter on Twitch or Patreon to ask a question.
We still got like 8 drunken merchant questions to go.
Oh yeah, we have several. We'll get to them eventually.
Yes. So with that, it's time to wrap up with the 4-player minute. Jeff, I hope you're prepared. We're not going to start with you. Give you a few minutes to prepare. But I guess, oh man, who do I start with? Brad's usually the one to start. Nolan?
What's up?
You want to start us off tonight?
Sure. I'm not ready at all, but here, let's go. My hype for this week is 12 minutes. I had kind of teetered on the edge of whether I was excited for that game or not, but Jeff's what
Anecdote?
Jeff said about that game, yes, his anecdote about it has kind of got me even more hype. So I'm excited for that. My second hype is for The Green Knight. Now that I can finally watch it, I'm going to watch that probably, like I said, tomorrow or Saturday. Very excited to watch that. My third hype is for the potential of us doing maybe a wash through of Evangelion or something like that. I think that sounds pretty fun. I'd be excited to do that.
Let's,
What's up?
I said let's make it happen. I'll do.
Yeah, let's do it.
Join us,
First
Nick.
one this weekend, baby.
Yeah. Mm, I don't have. Oh, you know what? I'm going to say a thank you to Shakusky for reaching out and desperately trying to get me to play Dodgeball Academia. I really do appreciate that. The kind of willingness to kind of reach out and say, hey, I really do think you'd enjoy this and check it out. And since that game is on Game Pass, I probably am going to check it out and play it. So, thank you for being persistent about that. Yeah,
I
that's my
heard that's
4-player
really
minute.
good. I want to play that too. In fact, I have it downloaded.
Nice. All right. Chris Davis.
Okay. All right. So my first hype is one I can't really talk about, which is for Battlefield 2042. I have played the technical test alpha that was last weekend, and that's all I can say. But since it's a hype, hopefully that tells you something.
You broke embargo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Get him.
My second hype is for Icky Island from the Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut. I watched Digital Foundry's kind of technical review of the director's cut today. God, that game looks so good, and the quality of life things they're bringing to that game, like a change up of an alternate control scheme, in which it's more like a Soulsian game where you're actually using the triggers and shoulder buttons to use your weapons instead of using the face buttons. So therefore, you have more camera control. A lot of little
I didn't know that was there.
nice little quality of life things they're doing with that. It looks pretty good. My sweat. So today, a company called G Kids, they've been teasing for a while a ultimate collector's edition of the Evangelion TV series and the original run of movies. And they finally revealed what it was. It looks really cool. It comes with a lot of like kind of poster things, and everything's on Blu-ray. It has both the quote-unquote official English dub and the classic dub, in addition to the Japanese. So you get your taste of whatever you want there. But it's $280, and I can't fucking justify $280 for this.
And that's the pre-order price.
That's the pre-order price. At launch, it would have gone up to $350. And I'm like, God fucking damn it, man. I love this series. I absolutely do, but I'm not paying more than $200 for all of that. So, you know that this series, it has had like 17 different versions of its soundtrack developed. There is one soundtrack disc they've issued that is nothing but like versions of Fly Me to the Moon. Like the outro credit song, Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon, it's part of all the credits for the series. It's nothing but like 17 or 18 different variations there. Man, I can't do it. I don't really have a fuck you, but I guess I would give it to Activision, because fuck Activision. They revealed Call of Duty Vanguard today, and it's just more fucking Call of Duty.
Right? Is that not awkward, announcing a new Call of Duty game in the midst of all this bullshit that's happening?
No, they're completely ignoring
I guess you can't,
the bullshit.
I guess you can't. I mean, you can't really stop that train once it's moving, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I mean, their problem
awkward.
is that if they would have announced this like 2 months ago, they'd probably be getting better press right now. But they can't wait any longer to reveal this game.
I'm sure Sledgehammer is thrilled about this. I mean, this is obviously going to be overshadowed, rightfully so, by everything that's happening at Activision Blizzard. So, whatever. this is
Oh,
what
and
this is what they have to deal with, and they're gonna have to deal with it. So.
yeah. Oh, and Nick, real quick, Brad
Uh,
has
oh,
did his
I
thing.
know. I was waiting for you to finish your 4-player minute, sir.
Go ahead.
I guess we should take this moment to congratulate Bradley. He had just finally announced the birth of his second son, Griffin Ridley Simons. That is why
Yay.
that is
Yeah.
why Brad is not here tonight. It was not planned that way. But congratulations, Brad. He's been keeping that under wraps. So yeah, so I guess it's a good time to mention right now that Brad's not going to be on the show for a few months. So we're going to be probably rotating through guests. Yeah, Jeff. I think Joseph said he might be on a few times, and you're going to see Ed more often, whatnot. There'll probably be a few shows where it's just 4 people, just depending on availability and whatnot. So we're going to be rotating some other familiar faces on the show in the coming months. But yeah, Brad is a new father. I mean, he was already a father. You know what I mean.
He made another.
He's
He
a
made
second
another.
father.
And he got
There's
not only,
another Simons.
and he got yet another video game reference in there, which that's super
That
impressive.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
But yeah, congratulations, Brad. So
I was planning on naming my child's middle name up, up, down, down, left, right, A, B.
It's a lot of characters.
Is Bernadette cool with that?
Probably.
But yeah, congratulations, Brad. We're very happy for you, and I'm sure you will see him in Discord and whatnot periodically, but he just won't have a presence on the show for a little while he gets settled into this new life that he now has. So yeah. Anyways, moving on. Where were we? We got Nolan done. We got Chris Davis done. Crispy, calling you out.
I'm calling you out. All right. My hype this week is for Deathloop, which we are just under a month away from, I believe. Next month? Early
Yeah,
next month?
September 14th, actually.
Some shit like that. Looks pretty cool. I don't know. I like Arcane. I hate Bethesda. Let's see what happens. My my sweat this week is for Nick actually saying he's gonna watch Evangelion. That's amazing. And it's
Oh, no.
either
What if I hate it?
well, I don't know, Nick. Either I feel like either you're just gonna kind of be like, nah, okay, or it's gonna ruin your life. And honestly, I hope it's the second one. But we'll see what happens. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. My thank you this week. I'm
I
gonna
can give you
it
a
to-
hype if you want, Crispy.
Hang on. I'm in the middle of a thank you. My thank you this week I'm gonna give to the Discord because I love hanging out in our Discord and everybody's really cool and I wish I could give you all a hug and a high five, but I can't. Earlier today I was like, hey, what's this anime series? And like 5 people gave me opinions on it, and I'm like, cool. Now I know I want to watch it. That's the amazing thing about our Discord community. And my hype is Nolan.
I sent it to you in the 4-player meeting channel. Just so you can say.
Hang on, let me click over. And my hype is oh shit! Oh yeah, a new season of What We Do in the Shadows. Yes, I love that show.
Good.
Oh my god, I can't fucking wait. That's really good. Thank you. What a delightful surprise, Nolan. Thank you. And that's my 4-player minute.
Awesome. All right, Jeff, your
All
turn.
right. It's hype, sweat, fuck you, thank you, right?
Yes, or any comment.
Okay.
You can double up on some of them if you want.
Okay, so I have 2 hypes. First hype, Back for Blood. Last weekend I played the open beta and I thought it was fucking cool. And it's nice to have that kind of Left 4 Dead gameplay back, but also like some of the stuff they're doing with cards and like replayability with that game seems really interesting and fun and addictive. So I'm kind of hyped for that. That comes out later this year, I think October. And my second hype is there's like a resurgence of Quake today, and like Quake is on everything now, and like I haven't played Quake since it originally released, and I'm really excited to sit down and play Quake again.
Is
So
that
there's
getting a
that.
Switch release? Is that part
Yeah,
of it?
and it's on Game Pass.
Everything.
They added it to Game Pass, like it's on right now, and it's got the mod for the 64 version, like built in. Which
And
is
they've
cool.
also added Quake 2 and 3 Arena to PC Game Pass.
Right. So that my sweat is I don't know if I have a sweat, to be honest. So sweat is non-existent. I use deodorant.
There we go.
What about climate
about to be-
change?
Yeah, I'm sweating. Yeah, right. My fuck you goes to Chris Davis said Activision. I think that's a given for all the shit that has come out about them. But also, fuck these religious zealots that are trying to stop, people from making money for selling some sex. Fuck that bullshit. And I'm ready to invest in whatever company is ready to replace OnlyFans. Let's get it
My credit
to
card
the
is
moon.
ready.
To the moon is what they say, right? That's the whole meme, to the moon. Let's take it to the moon. And then my thank you is to you guys for letting me sit in today. And it's been a while since I talked to anybody about video games.
Yeah, absolutely.
This show and the Discord is like where I basically go to discuss games that I'm playing. And like I said, this, especially as you get older and like the less you have of friends to talk about games with, the easier it is for you to just like lose that love and passion for it. Life kind of drags you down, and having like this community and friends around to like enjoy stuff with is cool. So let's watch that fucking Evangelion, so we can let's at least tell each other, okay, let's watch 3 episodes or something, and then we can get together for like 20 minutes once a week and have a discussion about it. So
I'm
that
down.
would be
Like
super
a
cool.
club.
Yeah, except Evangelion Club.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's do it. I'm down. I've never seen it, and it's been one of those things that I'm like, I should probably watch this at some point. I know nothing about it, but apparently it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's again, I haven't watched it since it's like original Inception, so I'm like ready to go back and re-experience it like at an older age and stuff. I'm sure like I maybe don't even understand it, honestly. So we'll see.
I can't
Don't
wait
worry,
to make
you're
the
not the only one
determination.
that doesn't understand it.
I can't wait to make the determination as to whether or not it is better or worse than Star Wars: A New Hope.
Oh, Nick
Okay.
loves digging his own grave.
I mean, at this point, I'm embracing the chaos, right?
I mean, Star Wars is a 3, so it really could go either way.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a dead in
It
the
could be.
middle.
Is it a 2 or a 4?
It's not a great movie, but it's not a terrible movie.
I can't believe that one moment where I was like, I just like dragged my thumb across my phone screen and gave it a star count. It took all of like 2 seconds, and I ruined my life.
Yeah, this will teach you to use social media, Nick.
Yeah. I already regret it. All right, my 4-player minute starts now. My first hype, I guess, is for 12 minutes. I think we expressed a little concern leading up to it. It could go either way. It was, people been looking forward to it for a long time. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, what the hell? Which way is this going to go? But it's being received very well. Like Nolan said, Jeff's anecdote it's got me fucking intrigued, and it sounds like a perfect game to play over a weekend. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Actually, I have 2 fuck yous. My first fuck you goes to, maybe this is more of a sweat. Sweat's probably a better descriptor. The movie Demonic, which I was very excited for, not doing too well. It's got like a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. And this is from the guy that did District 9 and Elysium.
Neil Blomkamp?
And, yeah. which I'm not saying
Hmm.
he's like a legendary director necessarily, but he's had a certain amount of like cred, and it's almost like I mean, it seems like maybe now it's starting to shape up to be more like an M. Night Shyamalan situation where like his first few movies are like excellent, people love him, and then it's just downhill. I mean, this is only one movie, right? But I certainly wasn't expecting 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm still gonna watch it, but I might not rush out to a theater, especially during COVID, to watch this. So that's kind of a bummer. Um, my fuck you of the week goes to I this OnlyFans thing. I don't even know how I got sucked into this conversation today, but like it fucking this is weird, man. This whole thing just irks me, and I do honestly feel I do feel bad for like there's a lot of people who are just being having the legs taken out from under them by this, uh, which is funny, right, Nolan? That's a funny. That's I didn't mean to do that, but it works. Uh, um, legs taken out from under him, but not in a good way. How's that? So if you follow the breadcrumbs down to the fucking religious groups or whatever that are trying to influence the credit card companies, which all the way up, fuck all those people, man. You're not gonna stop this train, no matter how much you want to. You're not gonna stop it. And
You're not gonna stop the train.
man, okay, I keep doing this, man. I keep fucking doing this, which is, honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Uh, wow, man, I walked right into that. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop talking. Fuck all those people. Um, let's see. My other hype, I think I'm gonna do Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm kind of ashamed of it. I double dipped. I bought Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut on PS5. I know I could have just done the upgrade, but man, I just, me, I'm weird. I wanted it on a disc, but I am super looking forward to jumping back into that game with like super fast load times and quality of life improvements. And
The load
also
times are
playing,
already pretty good, so
yeah,
I'm assuming this one's going to be like pretty good
yeah.
upgrades.
They say pretty much like the reviews I've been reading so far seem to be that loading times for the most part, except for maybe that first initial load, are pretty non-existent. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that new expansion, new story. I love the story of the main game, so I'm eager to see more of that. And my thank you goes to Jeff for not just for being here, but for being here at the last possible second. And like, cause we got the news about Brad's Brad's child being born today,
Fun.
which was not necessarily. We were expecting this was. We honestly expected today to be
Brad
like
was
the last
supposed to be on the
podcast.
show tonight. Yeah.
And it turns out he was like, guys, I'm not going to be on the show. And we all knew it was happening. So it was kind of a last minute thing. And I was like, oh no, the show, I don't know what we're going to do, because he was going to talk about Axiom Verge. Oh, by the way, he wanted us to pass on a message for him.
Do you have it, Nick?
Because I don't know if you have
I have it. Yeah, I have it.
Go for it.
So Brad
go for it.
says Axiom Verge 2 is pretty cool, and he's a little worried that Arise's combat might be a little too spammy.
I feel like
Those are
that's
his
going to be
comments.
that's going to be the most you get from Brad on the podcast for the for the next few months. Is he's going to pass on little tiny messages like that, and we're just going to reiterate them on the show. We're gonna pass that on to you guys that way.
Like a king in exile.
Yeah.
Although
But,
technically we could say whatever we want for Brad.
we could be like
Like if he has a bad opinion, we could change it around.
we could change. I mean, he's not falling off the face of the earth. He's in Discord.
Allegedly,
was-
do we know that's actually Brad? That could
Well,
be
that is good.
Carlos.
That's a good point.
How many times have you fallen for Carlos being Brad?
He's changed it. Now he's everyone. You got to be careful with that one. So
That's
Man,
this
my
week.
fucking-
God damn.
my fuck you of the
Fuck
week goes to
Carlos.
My fuck you of the week goes to Carlos.
He's been
but yeah.
spamming the fucking timelines with like dots and shit. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna fucking block you soon. Stop
Dude,
it.
Jeff, did
I'm
you know
really
that Carlos DMs me every day to show me a picture of what he's eating for lunch?
He still
Yeah,
do
he-
that?
He still posts it.
He's not as consistent as he once was. It used to be every damn day, and now it's like once or twice a week. But yeah, I
Sometimes
get it.
my
I get
boy,
it.
I don't even know what my boy's doing, bro. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Nobody
Carlos.
knows. Nobody knows what Carlos is doing. But anyways, my point is, the show kind of like the plan fell apart at the last minute, and I was like, I guess we're doing a 4-person show tonight. And then Jeff was like, "You looking for a guest?" And I was like, "Yes." I didn't think I was gonna have to worry about finding guests until next week, but yes. And here you are, last second, and it's been a pleasure catching up with you and talking about video games because always fun. And with that, that's our show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, for listening. 4playernetwork.com obviously is the website. You can also find us in Discord, as everybody mentioned earlier, discord.gg/4player. And if you want to throw a few bucks our way, help us, keep the lights on, pay for our hosting costs and all that good stuff. Patreon.com/4player is the way to do it. Or you can subscribe on Twitch. Either way, we appreciate it. But in the meantime, let's hang out, talk about video games, be good to each other, watch Evangelion. I'm sure we'll give you all an update on the show next week.
Wash your hands.
Wash
Get
your hands.
vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
Get vaxxed.
Wear a mask when necessary. And, just in general, guys, be good to each other. Come on. This isn't that hard. Let's be good to each other. I love you guys.
I love you too. Hold on. I was gonna say there's a guy I follow on this site called the YouTubes, I think.
Yes.
His name is Mikey Newman. I wouldn't be surprised
yes.
if Crispy knew him. Oh, okay. Nick does too.
No,
Movies
Mikey
with
Newman.
Mikey.
Yeah, movies with Mikey. Film Joy is one of his YouTube channel.
He's a writer from. He used to write for Borderlands at Gearbox.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. But for the synopsis of his review of Princess Mononoke is fight less, talk more, say sorry sometimes.
I like
He
that.
sells a shirt with that on it or something.
And I bought one
Oh,
from
man.
him, and it came in a nice little box, and he actually signed the box and stuff. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Nice.
Cool.
I think he's up in like the Dallas area.
Yeah, he's based. I mean, I think
He would
Gearbox
be.
is in
Yeah.
Dallas, which is
Mhm.
would
Yeah,
make sense.
Grapevine.
All right, guys, thanks again. That's our show. We'll see y'all next week. Good night.
Bye.